You know, in the world of cybersecurity, it doesn't matter if you're on the defense or on the attack. Every single operation kicks off with one absolutely critical step: reconnaissance. It's the foundation for everything, so today we're going to break down this first phase and really dig into the two main ways it's done. So, what is reconnaissance really? Honestly, the best way to get it is to think about a classic heist movie, right? Before the crew even gets close to the vault, they spend days, maybe weeks, just watching, learning the guards' routines, the camera placements, all of that. Well, that initial intelligence gathering, that's what we're talking about. It's the digital version of casing the joint. So to put a finer point on it, reconnaissance, or just recon as everyone calls it, is all about gathering as much info as you possibly can about a target system. This could be literally anything, from the kind of software it's running to who the key employees are. But how you get that information, well, that's where recon splits into two very, very different approaches. First up, we've got the quiet observer, passive reconnaissance. This is the art of being a ghost. It's about learning everything you can about a target without them ever knowing you were there. You're just a shadow, gathering intel from afar. Now, the most important thing to understand here is the risk level. It is extremely low. And why is that? It's simple. You never actually interact with the target systems. You're not knocking on their door. You're just looking at all the public information they've left scattered across the internet. Their digital exhaust, you could call it. This means they have absolutely no way of knowing you're even looking at them. So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, it could mean using open source intelligence, OSINT, which is a fancy way of saying you're looking at public sources. Think searching for employee names on LinkedIn to build an org chart. Or maybe you do a whois lookup to see who registered a website's domain name. You could even use a crazy search engine like Shodan to find devices like webcams or servers that are connected to the internet. Okay, so now let's flip the coin and talk about the complete opposite of that quiet approach: active reconnaissance. If passive recon is watching the house from across the street, active recon is marching right up to the front door and you start knocking, loudly. With active recon, you are directly interacting with the target. You're actually sending little bits of data, packets, to their servers and then carefully analyzing what they send back. Now, this gets you way more accurate, real-time info. But, and this is a huge but, it comes with a major risk: detection. Every single packet you send can be logged, leaving a digital fingerprint that can point right back to you. The techniques here are probably what you picture when you think about hacking, right? We're talking about using a famous tool called Nmap to do a port scan, which is basically checking all the digital doors and windows on a server to see which ones are open. Or things like banner grabbing, which reveals the exact version of software a server is running. You can even run vulnerability scans that are actively poking and prodding the system for known weaknesses. So, there you have it, two completely different philosophies for gathering intel. One is quiet and safe. The other is loud, direct, and way more precise. Let's put them side by side so we can really see the trade-offs. And this leads us to the million-dollar question, doesn't it? Which one do you choose? Well, like with most things, the answer is it depends entirely on your goal. Are you trying to stay completely invisible? Or do you need the most accurate, up-to-the-second data you can possibly get, even if it means you might get caught? This table really lays it all out. With passive, your interaction is indirect and you're pretty much undetectable. The downside? Your info might be old. With active, you're interacting directly, so the data is precise and real-time, but you are highly detectable. You're leaving tracks. That analogy just says it all, right? Passive is looking at the house from the park. Active is walking up to the house and actually rattling the doorknobs to see which one is unlocked. Now, before we wrap this up, we have to talk about something incredibly important. That whole rattling the doorknobs thing, it's not just a clever metaphor. It comes with some very serious, real-world ethical and legal consequences. So here is the absolute golden rule, and I can't say this loudly enough. You must always have explicit, written permission before you perform any kind of active reconnaissance on a network that you do not own, period. This is the bright, shining line for any ethical security professional. Because without that piece of paper, what you're doing is no longer just research. Legally, it can be classified as attempted unauthorized access. And trust me, the consequences for that can be incredibly severe. It's a line you just do not cross without clear authorization. At the end of the day, understanding these two types of reconnaissance is fundamental to cybersecurity. It's how you see the world, whether you're a defender trying to find your own weaknesses before the bad guys do, or someone else. So the real question isn't just about what these techniques are. It's about how they're used. Knowledge is power, right? So now that you have it, how are you going to use it?